Hello and welcome to the Jan's Report. My name is Austin, your host. Today I want to talk about Russian interest in the independent nation of Ukraine and provide a different opinion on why the Russians are interested in reclaiming Ukraine. Ukraine sits in Eastern Europe and neighbors Romania and other Eastern European nations, the largest one, of course, being Russia. Ukraine has also had an uneasy history, being controlled by different powers such as the Ottoman Empire and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, with Russia being the largest power to take control of it. During Russian control from the late 1700s to 1991, the Ukrainian people took aspects of the Russian culture. For example, the main religion in Ukraine is Ukrainian Orthodox, which shares some practices with Russian Orthodox faith, which originally came from the Byzantine Empire. The Ukrainians have, of course, over the years included all other cultures and have kept their own language. From years of being part of the Russian Empire and the Soviet Union, also had their economy merged with the Russian one. So when Ukraine finally did become independent, it had to deal with the same issues other former Soviet nations had to deal with, a broken economy. When Leonid Kravchuk became the first president of independent Ukraine in 1991, he attempted to fix the Ukrainian economy and push Ukraine into a pro-Western European policy. His attempt on fixing the economy did not go well, and that he failed to deal with the rampant corruption in Ukraine and watched as inflation gripped the new independent nation. In terms of his pro-Western policy, he had some success but was opposed by the eastern part of Ukraine, which is predominantly Russian-speaking and wanted closer relationship with Russia. Kravchuk was later replaced by Leonid Kuchma, who moved Ukraine to closer ties with Russia and was the supporter of pro-Russian leader Viktor Yanukovych. This push for dependence on Russia by different Ukrainian leaders has pushed Ukraine into the Russian sphere of influence. A sphere of influence can be described as a state as having cultural, economic, military, or political exclusivity, and is a term used in the study of foreign relations. Russia does have exclusivity in Ukraine, as it has made its intentions clear that when a leader that is pro-Western European in Ukraine, bad things tend to happen to them. An example of this is Ukrainian President Viktor Yushchenko, who took power in 2005 and was poisoned by Ukrainian state security. He is also running against pro-Russian President Viktor Yanukovych, who won the election. This, of course, sparked the Orange Revolution, where supporters of Yushchenko took to the streets wearing orange, protesting that the election was rigged. The Ukrainian court went in favor of the protesters and agreed that the election was rigged, and Yanukovych was at least briefly gone from the political scene. Russia has also responded in other ways to when Ukraine does not agree with the agenda of Moscow and shifts towards Western European policy. In 2006, Russia cut Ukraine's access to natural gas and claimed that Ukraine had not paid its bills as a cover-up for not following what Russia wanted Ukraine to do. From the Ukrainian reliance on Russian energy and resources, Ukraine gave in and reached an agreement with the Russian government. The other thing Russia has done in Ukraine is that it has military assets in the Crimean port of Sevastopol. Ukraine leased the port to Russia in exchange for some income, and Russia has used it to store its Black Sea fleet. When the crisis broke out in Ukraine in 2014, when Viktor Yanukovych signed a deal with Russia instead of the EU, the Russians annexed the entire Crimea region and other parts of Ukraine, claiming that they were protecting Russian citizens. This claim is false, and that Yanukovych was a pro-Russian Ukrainian leader who was ousted from power and replaced by Petro Poroshenko, who vowed to bring the nation back to stability, as well as fight corruption that has gripped Ukraine. It seems that Russia has no intention of letting Ukraine fall into Western European sphere of influence due to its actions, political and military. It also seems that Russia still thinks Ukrainians as being Russians, even though it is evident, while they might share a few things, Ukrainian culture is different. Before I end this, I give you today's funny picture. A man who thinks he can go faster than your car. If you like this video and want to be notified early when I upload a new episode, hit the like and subscribe button. Also feel free to check out our Facebook page, The Jans Report, where you can leave a suggestion for a topic you would like covered, or suggest one in the comments below. I will see you all on the next Jans Report.